All right, so again, welcome to Wake Up World Network. Thursday night live at 10:30. Usually it's 10:35, but now we have the recording here for YouTube. We're on Facebook, Blog Talk Radio. Still no go, but I did start on time, which is a move in the right direction. Also, I've been blessed with some newer equipment to help smooth things a little bit. I have a mic now. You can hear me a little bit better, I think, for those that are watching on YouTube, the pre-recorded version of this, and those that are on the tablet that I'm looking into, you guys can hear me a little bit better, I think, than my phone. So we're moving places here. It's moving in the right direction. But, so these are my thoughts. I first would like to go into God's Word and give example. I'll give it 1 second here to reconnect. What comes to mind for this election and what I am praying for is, regardless if it's in the political arena or if it's just somebody that emerges amongst the people in this country, regardless of which way the election goes, be it Trump, be it Hillary, that there will be some type of godly leader that arises that will stand for the people, stand what's right for the people, fight for the people peacefully, because that's what we need. On the network page here, I shared a video earlier about Hannah's prayer, powerful. And if those that are on YouTube, if you didn't hear that, I could tell you where it's at. It's 1 Samuel chapter 2. Powerful stuff, man. Hannah's prayer, the first 10 verses is awesome. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verses 1 through 10. But I did a recording of just reading that out, just as words of encouragement. But in there it says something very important. It's not by man we prevail. It is only by God. It is only standing on His foundation, His promise, that we prevail. Looking to Him for guidance, looking to Him for knowledge. So, as I said, I would like to open this up first with God's Word in an example, a paraphrased example. Solomon was known to be a man after God's own heart. I mean, we're talking about the guy that asked not for riches and for fame and fortune or anything like that, but God still granted to him, because what he asked for is what he needed to lead the people in the right direction. He asked for wisdom. He asked for knowledge, but God still gave him both of those. He was known as the wisest man that lived on the earth, and he still gave him the richest part and the fame part. And because of that, because of his leadership, Israel became one of the wonders of the world in our history, in our existence. But we have to remember something about Solomon. Solomon also wasn't the best godly man there was. In fact, he did things that, I haven't studied it all the way out, but just to paraphrase, he wasn't supposed to have as many wives as he did. He wasn't supposed to have the concubines that he did. None of that God wanted him to have. Yet still God blessed him. God still used him for His kingdom's sake, His glory's sake. I apologize about the dogs in the background. But that's what I kind of see here. But we also have to remember something about Solomon. Solomon also was warned that if he didn't turn from his ways, there would be issues, there would be problems, that God was going to remove His blessing, His power. And we see that when the prophet Samuel comes up, and the cloth is torn from him. And then we see that again with David. He goes up and he cuts the back of his cloak when he could easily take his life. After Solomon, who basically they were like father and son, he went after David because he was jealous of him, because basically the limelight was being taken from him. It's now on David, not on King Solomon, the first king of Israel. It's now on David, and the people are looking to what God is doing through him, this great warrior and godly man. So basically, twisting this back to where I wanted to start, my prayer is this. I apologize, people on Facebook. The connection is very weak. Let me see if I can do something with that real quick. But that's my prayer, is that we will have a leader that doesn't disobey God, but hears him, heeds him. Sorry, guys. Again, I apologize about the weak signal. So let me just finish this out. What I'm getting to is I'm praying for a leader, be it Trump, be it Hillary. I'm praying that they will turn this country back in the direction it needs to go, back to God, back to giving the people freedom again. And right now, I got to tell you, on both sides, I don't necessarily see that. I don't see it go. I mean, I see it going in the right direction for what the world would want, but where it needs to be as far as line up with God and to have this nation completely revived in every way, shape, or form, it's going to take a godly man. It's going to take godly leadership. It's going to take standing on God and what He needs of us, what His will is for this country. To be realigned back with Him, to be redeemed and reconciled back with Him, because this land is no longer that. In fact, this last 8 years of the leadership we've had, we've become very, very, very ungodly. We've been completely going in the opposite direction of what we used to be known by, that this is a nation that follows and honors God. We are no longer this. I do pray that God blesses this country. I'm not trying to talk down on this country, but what I'm saying is right here, right now in history, is what we're making. We have a tipping point. This election, people, is a tipping point of where this country is going to go. Whether you believe in God like I do or not. This election is a tipping point where our country is going to go. And I can tell you this, the number one thing we need is God back in this country. Because the further away we go, the worse this country is going to become. I guarantee it. The darker it will be. Wars and rumors of wars will emerge before our eyes, not just abroad. These riots and so forth will increase. Possible civil war will break out, I think, either way. This is why we need to be united back to God. Why? Because true peace is Jesus. Standing on His foundation, standing on His morals, standing on God's word is that foundation, and having a godly person at the lead of that. I think our country is at a state of where Solomon was. That God has been giving warning. And unless we take heed, that the leaders take heed, we're going to see the same thing that happened with Solomon and David. We're going to see Saul with so much pride and envy, jealousy, that he fell on his own sword in battle. Our country, unless we turn away from the things that we are doing, turn away from the wickedness we continue to go down, this country will fall. So, I apologize again about the weak broadcast. Let me see if I can kill one of my Wi-Fi's here. Things I'm attached to. So where I stand with this is, I'm a conservative, not necessarily Republican, but I stand with where I hope this country will go, at least in the direction of we can start to clean up some things, and praying for a leader to emerge outside of the political arena, because I don't think that the system that we have in place right now is going to be able to revive us to where we need to be. But I do believe that there's leaders that will emerge, like Dr. Ben Carson, that I pray that he gets more involved. as far as dealing with the people, interacting with the people of this country. Hopefully being an advisor for either one of Hillary or Trump. But this is the reason. So I am going to vote Trump. I'll just go ahead and tell you this. I am voting Trump for the reason of this. I don't trust Hillary. And I'm not telling you who to vote for. You can chastise me all you want, but this is the thing. This is the track record. I heard a great quote by Mayor Giuliani today. He was campaigning for Trump. He was here where I'm from. It was a private event. And he said, the last time I saw the things I saw with Hillary's administration and people around her in the same organization, he says, I've never seen in my life except one place where somebody can be convicted of something and completely just ignored. No prosecution, no time, not a lot of court, no paperwork, just kind of a slap on the wrist, sweep it under the rug. Let's go look to see what sports is going on or what's going on, and with this law enforcement issue with being too aggressive. It just swept under the rug like it's nothing. He says the only place he saw that is when he was working for the Attorney General's office and he was prosecuting mob bosses. And he says that is not the type of leadership we do. And what I want to encourage you with is look at this election like this. Don't just look at the two people. I had to learn this today. Don't just look at the two people and go off of them. Look at the two people and the people around them. The system that is in place right now that is either going to continue or it's going to be deflated. That is the one thing I stand with Trump on the most, is draining the swamp, putting restrictions on Senate and Congress that they can only lead a certain amount of time. Because when they become corrupt and it's just continuing and continuing and continuing, there is no limit. We have a cesspool then. We have a lot of stuff now we have to deal with. We have a lot of corruption. We have the world looking at us like what is going on in America. They're supposed to be showing us example. Our country has looked up to be example for a long time, and it knows no longer this. Why? Because we have so many corrupt politicians every single week for the last 6 months to 8 months. We've heard different allegations on both parties, or every single person pretty much running, and it's now no longer what they're gonna do for the people. It's look at the dirt that they're doing. That is not what this country needs. This country needs leaders to unite the people again, to fight for the people again, to do right by the people again, to do right by our military, our servicemen and women, whatever uniform that may be, to do right by our kids in our schools. Actually giving them an education instead of a book and checking yes they passed or no they didn't, and actually letting teachers do their job, letting law enforcement do their job, creating better school and after school programs. I don't put all my eggs in one basket, all my chips on the table for just Trump. I'm putting them there for the sole reason I do not trust Hillary with leadership of this country. I'm voting against her. I don't necessarily believe and agree with everything Trump says, but he does have a track record. Giuliani actually made a very valid point. He said the man set out to accomplish a goal, and he did so. And a lot of times, he did it before his deadline, he said. For example, the hotel. He wanted to get that done, and I think it was a year or so. He finished it 4 months early. He had other construction projects that he helped invest and lead. He completed them earlier than scheduled. The guy is a worker. The guy is a fighter. He will get done what he says he's going to get done. But what I pray gets done is that our leadership will take a knee to God again. Trump says he's a believer, and that's another reason why I'm voting. But in closing, guys, this is the bottom line why I'm voting for Trump. A couple people, I won't say a couple people, but I know of one person that is going to vote, but is not for the two primary candidates that we have. He's probably going to write Carson or somebody else. I thought about writing Carson because the fact of the matter is, I am hoping that Trump is the less of two evils to choose from. But the fact of the matter is, it is still evil. I don't think enough signatures writing Ben Carson is going to do the job. We have to make a critical decision, one that we're going to live with. Let me put it to you like this. This is the first election. I said for a long part of my life I would never vote. because I knew from a kid there just wasn't something right about the elections in a lot of ways, especially the past three. We'll even say three. There's just something off, but it's been getting a little bit more off each election, and now we're at a tipping point, I believe, in our country. Make the decision not, again, based on two people and the dirt that's on them. Look at the bigger picture and the system that is in place that's going to continue or get worse, or we can hopefully start new. And that is what this country needs. Honestly, I wish we can have two different candidates. We would redo this whole thing. We would get rid of tradition and we would look to what this country really needs, what the people needs in this country. But we cannot afford not to vote. I encourage you to go out and vote. Encourage your neighbors. If they're registered, go and vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but I'm asking you to really look at the bigger picture. Don't just look at the two primary candidates. Look at the systems in place. Look at the system that one wants to try to instate and establish, and the other that would just continue, and what that would look for this country, what that would mean for the people. And can you honestly say on either side which one has a better track record of being truthful? Or which one has a lot of allegations, even rumors? I'll be fair, even rumors, not completely proven, but rumors in itself. But there's a lot of them. I'm not trying to, again, shove dirt in each one of their faces and say, okay, your face is dirty, your face is dirty. Which one's more dirty? And that's who I'm going to not choose. I'm saying look at the bigger picture of not just the two primary, but the whole system, because that is the vote that we need. That is the vote that we're going to have to live with. Again, guys, understand this, that the hope that I can give you is God's still on the throne. And He can use the people that is set in power, but those people have to be willing. I know the time and hour that we're in. God's Word says the time and hour we're in. We're in the days of the return. We're in the minutes, the hours of the return. I don't know the exact date. It may be years from now, maybe tomorrow, maybe 6 months, maybe a decade from now. I don't know. But I know God's Word says when these things start to happen, to look up for our redemption draweth nigh. He is King of Kings. That's who I put all my eggs in a basket for. I put my life on the line for. That's who I look to hope. Regardless of where this election goes, that's who I'm looking to. So with that, guys, again, go and vote. Think hard. Really pray. Think hard. Communicate with people. I wish people were live right now because I would love to read question you guys have or where you guys stand, why you stand that way. Again, I'm not trying to tell you who to vote for. I'm just telling you where I stand and why I'm voting the way I am. This is because I do not think we can afford. This country cannot afford, not just financially, but entirely, an administration ran by Hillary Clinton with the things that are going on around her, what she's being accused of, and now our enemies. Pray, seek God, get in His Word. That is the most important thing I can tell you here. Because at the end of the day, that's what matters. God bless.